Coming right at you with more force than Elias Lindholm roughing penalty. Welcome back to the BarDown podcast. This week, we discuss the Penguins finally moving towards having younger squad, bringing back a 52-year-old Jaromir Jagr. We also talk about how one sport has finally decided to stop the trend of lying directly to our faces, labeling their event at MetLife as a New Jersey-based event. The world isn't short on unpopular opinions, and the NHL not short on underrated players. We've got a Venn diagram of the two. And of course, we're not thinking, we're just tweeting, as we discuss how NBA fans are suddenly a bit envious of NHL fans. There it is.
I want to bet.
In what way?
To find out.
That's how a teaser works.
Who would have thunk
Is it JJ Redick
Maybe it's
in the start times for games?
Is that killing like how a teaser works? It's not that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It is
maybe
killing.
maybe
it.
they're just
I'm
looking for relatable short kings.
There's a few of those.
I just mean there's none in the NBA.
There
Short?
are though
There's
because
short
everyone
guys in the
thinks
NBA.
they're short,
Yeah.
but they're not.
That's the thing. Like
No.
Steph Curry looks so little,
Marquise
and then
Noel.
you see him stand next to a normal person, and it's
he's
like
a giant.
Oh,
Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
big.
Marquise Noel, if he ends up playing some NBA minutes, he's like
a short
5'10",
king.
5'11". Like when we stood next to him media day, I was like, you and I are very similar sizes. That doesn't make sense.
But there's no Nathan Gerbies.
No.
Or Charas. No, there are Charas. Never mind.
What is this guy yapping about?
There's a
They're
lot.
all Charas.
Only
They're
Charas.
all yeah.
All Charas, yeah.
Dude, we'll get to it because we're talking about the Stadium Series game. But there's a tall line there in New York now. But I feel like this is the first time all four of us have been back together in like a long time. And in case, by the way, you've never watched this before, why don't we just very briefly go around the table with a little introductions?
Wow, I'm Luca. I'm an Avs fan.
I'm Corwin. I have no particular fandom.
I'm Jesse, and I love the Jets. Damn it.
Why you cannot top that?
Yeah. Accident.
Yeah,
I swear.
I'm Daniel. I cannot top that. But anyways, oh wow,
Big Falcons guy.
yeah, huge Falcons. We're all wearing some kind of sports merch, except this is just scary. Let's get right into it.
Throwback vault.
Is that a sports merch?
Is that a sports merch? I don't know. Is that a
Right?
sentence?
It's one of those old school baseball hats.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's,
Or who?
the Kansas City Cats, and Cats is like a supermarket or I think it's a drugstore there, and they had a baseball team with
Looks
their
like
logo.
a Joker cat.
Looks weird.
Somebody,
I like it.
Let's get right in.
somebody
Yeah.
gave that cat a smile.
Someone gave that cat a
Look
smile.
at that! You tell me that's not what that is. That's the Joker.
Someone gave
I'm
that
the Joker,
cat
baby.
a smile.
That's an evil kitty, for sure.
Anyways, let us start out with the Pens celebrating Jagr. The first thing I'm gonna do to this. Did you guys see the photo?
Yeah.
Of the four of them together, and by the four.
Yeah, it's got like a big red smile.
Shut up.
Did the Joker get them too?
Yeah. It's crazy. No, the photo is of Mario Lemieux, Jaromir Jagr, Sidney Crosby, and Evgeny Malkin, all just standing there or sitting there together in their jerseys, which is like, even as like a Mount Rushmore for any team. Like any team. Is there any team in the NHL that has that beat?
Okay, wait. Gretz,
Oilers.
McDavid, Draisaitl, and then who do you go? Messier?
Curry, Messier.
That's the one. That's the one that can
Go
compete.
Paul Coffey too.
Like, I guess,
Paul
what?
Coffey for
Chicago, you could go.
By the way, I think I'm not, and this is not. I hate how when we have to discuss these, you kind of have to preface it a little bit because like clearly Draisaitl incredible, but like I don't know, like who's his equivalent there then? Because he'd be at the end of that Penguins one, which all of them are incredible.
I think the Oilers would be McDavid.
Yeah, well, because Draisaitl's not even really a top five player in the league right now.
Yeah,
No,
don't.
I think the Oilers would be
throwback.
McDavid, Gretzky, Messier, and then Coffey.
Anyways, we don't have to solve that either way, but the four of them, that's insane. Like, what an embarrassment of riches to be able to celebrate that. And it is kind of weird how, I guess, since he left Pittsburgh, I hadn't really realized it because none of us here are Pittsburgh fans, but they were not celebrating him, kind of like the same way you'd have assumed. Like, this took a while because he's still playing, but
Well, in 2011, he chose Philly over
yeah,
them.
not to go.
Crazy
That
move.
must have hurt. Either way, it's wild. Like that's like an iconic photo, but an even crazier Mount Rushmore. The Penguins themselves, though, they're in a weird spot because before we were talking like, oh man, they could be buyers, and it's definitely not at all seeming like they would even consider doing that at this point. It really is just like even with Gensel being hurt, it's just making a decision on whether or not to move him out, whether or not to keep him, and just re-sign him and whatnot. But what would you guys do at this point? Because, I mean...
I don't know. Personally, I think you just hope that the results turn around. Because, like, I do think some of the process is there for that team, but, like, just not working out. But, like, is your franchise really going to be changed by, like, your return for Jake Gunsel?
I'm so interested to see what happens with Crosby in the future. Honestly, if I was Sid, and I think it also is so dependent on his relationship with Mario Lemieux is clearly just so close, and Mario obviously spent his entire career in Pittsburgh. I don't know if I'm Crosby, like I think I would want out.
But he's already stated, by the way, he's like in it for the long haul.
Well,
he's made it it's almost as clear without saying it. He's like, I'm here. He's not.
You just look at all the greats in these sports, and like they leave. They leave eventually. Like Gretzky left, Brady left. I don't know. I feel like
two. We got two.
Two pretty big ones.
There are people that stay as well.
Like hockey's different though. Like hockey stars are pretty locked into their teams forever, kind of thing.
Like what? So if
Messier left.
like Gretzky left not by his choice, but who's like the biggest hockey player that like Lemieux, other than Lemieux, that never left a team?
The biggest of the biggest.
I mean, Ovi and Crosby are up there.
And in modern,
Yeah,
by the
honestly.
way, we
Sakic.
should say modern.
Sakic.
If you want to say
Yzerman.
Yzerman.
Yeah. Yeah, those are probably the other
Those are the
two.
big ones.
who
like-
are some big ones that left? Like Jagr left, Gretzky left.
Did Marcel
Messier.
Dion always play for one team?
He played just for the Kings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
Marty Brodeur, he left for
Patrick
Should-
Waugh.
left. Hasek went to a billion teams.
the Brodeur one. If anything, is a great example of why to just maybe stay because it wasn't worth it. But
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
think-
by the way, I was wrong. Marcel Dion played for the Rangers for 2 years.
Do you think like so he's had this Lemieux influence in his ear for so long and been like, one team guy, because I know that's all they're talking about.
That's literally it.
Yeah.
That was what they
But-
the dinner picture. That's
Yeah,
they
they're
were
just talking how many teams do you play for, and then they say one. Jagr says 40, and then
Still playing.
He's still adding to the list.
Still going.
Exactly.
There could be more.
But do you think he's just like letting Sid know, like, yeah, you should play for 10 or 12 more teams?
Well, yeah.
Good. I mean, it just Sid's done everything he really needs to do in hockey. That's the only thing.
But
he doesn't have to go anywhere. But
He did, just to tie it into some like recent news as well. He said that the Gensel stuff doesn't actually factor in for him whether or not he would choose to stay, because on July 1st he has like an extension option.
Yeah.
Like, he seems pretty locked in.
I think he's a Penguins guy. Yeah,
For life.
Yeah.
I think he's
Yeah.
through and through. But
Love to see him come to Colorado.
yeah,
Because I feel like that's the only one that people are just talking about when they talk about Crosby moving. It's like, go play with McKinnon or go play with Marchand. Which, man, do you imagine going to Boston?
I have one other thing to bring up about this though, is that because like we're talking about it like, oh, he's kind of coming to the end of his career. So like, what is Sid 36 now?
36,
35,
37,
36 or something, yeah.
So what?
36.
So Jagr played until he was 48 in the
He's
NHL.
still in the NHL.
That's actually insane.
So like, imagine we're talking about this. Imagine Sid plays for another 10 to 12
Like, this is just the
years.
midway point of his career.
Yeah,
and like, he's
like,
got
life
another half
crisis.
a
But
career.
genuinely, like, the model to look at, I know you want to look in sport and like they're a bit different that way, but he's like LeBron, where it's just like, it seems like someone who takes such good care of themselves, and the way that they play, they're fine with adapting it in a way that it's like longevity matters.
But he's like same age as LeBron though.
yeah, but like they could just keep going.
You think LeBron's gonna play till 48?
No, but then LeBron came before him still by a couple of years.
This might be a crazy thing to say. This might be a hot take, but I think basketball is harder on your body than hockey.
Definitely.
This is the jumping.
Yeah,
And
Well,
the players are way-
just the
I guess
explosiveness.
specifically your
Yeah.
knees.
Explosiveness,
Like
yeah.
your knees.
They're way bigger.
Yeah.
You know how much bigger LeBron James is than Sidney Crosby?
Yeah.
Like
You-
jumping
you
up and
can't-
down all the time, it's tough on the knees.
This is the second
ankles.
time that's come up on this podcast.
Wow.
There's like no form of like coasting allowed whatsoever. Like you just will, like you'll be exposed if physically you don't match up. Like it just happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not wrong that way. It's so matchup based. So
All I mean to say is like somebody's really mad, being like, "This is a contact sport in basketball. They dive and they
Yeah.
and like, but like that's all we mean. We just mean like specifically health
no.
wise.
No,
Like
of
I think
course.
your knees. Get
Also,
really beat up.
basketball's probably more physical than people give it credit for, too.
for sure.
But like in genuinely, I heard some stat even like recently. I heard it while playing 2K. There are less like players over the age of 30 at this point in the NBA more than any other time in the NBA. It's like it's completely
Young
skewing
man's game.
towards like a young man's
Makes
game.
sense.
So that's not even really like debatable. But anyhow, moving on, the Stadium Series. I know we make fun of the Stadium Series and the outdoor games a little bit because we say it's like lost some of its luster and, kind of that like landmark hallmark event. And it kind of has because there have been a lot of them. I got to say, after this weekend one, I'm kind of back in on them.
Why?
You guys, okay. First off, I'll answer your question, but did you guys watch either of the games?
Yeah, I watched the Islanders Rangers one, and then I caught a little bit of the New Jersey Philly one.
Yeah.
Yeah, bits and pieces.
Well, the ending of that was like crazy.
The Rangers
Islanders
one,
yeah.
incredible.
Nice.
And like a 6-5 game out there is like you
Pretty
love to
electric.
see that.
I think it was like also one of like the perfect things where the whole point of A, ESPN stuff, and B, like a stadium or event based game is you want new eyes and people that's the one hockey game they watch. That was the best example of like, why do power play numbers matter? Because you had a team who had the worst power play, and at the end of the game, they lost solely based on the fact that it's like they had how many advantages in a row? I think it was like both goals came off the power play.
This is kind of off topic now, but like also just we got it. You brought up like the insane power plays. That Minnesota Vancouver game was so nuts, and all the 5-on-3 goals
everywhere.
And they what was it? They scored 6 goals in like it was probably like 6 minutes. Yeah, something like that. Where like just I don't know. Either way, obviously you see the 10-7 score, it's already nuts. But I feel like it was even more nuts watching the game where like they just like they came back. What was it? It was 5-2, and then it was 8-5. Like
Man,
they were so nuts.
There were 3 hat tricks that game.
Yeah.
3. It's insane. And Sean Monahan also scored a hat trick, a natural hat trick.
There was a lot of
and
goals
we lost.
on the weekend.
Who else scored hat tricks?
We were at that game, by the
Auston's
way. If
got
you're
a
talking
few.
about Auston Matthews and the Leafs, we were at that game.
Oh
I
my
missed
God.
both goals, by the way, in the second period. It was the craziest thing because
This guy is one of the platinum seat.
not at
goers.
all. We were in the 300 section.
I saw this guy. He was front row. He was against the glass, and he went, "Let's head to the VIP."
There were
section."
2 empty seats if you watch the highlights.
It
back.
was 19:58 on the clock, first period, and he was like, "Let's hit VIP."
Let's get out of here. No, we were just slow to get
enough.
back, and it was like both goals happened. I was like, that's terrible luck. But anyways, just back to the Stadium Series, though. You asked why?
Yeah.
I actually felt like they did a great job of making it feel like just like a geographical, like proper rival.
Yeah.
And they leaned into it so well. And this is my thought here. And let me know what you guys think here. We always kind of also laugh at the MLS because they really tried to force that rivalry week thing.
Hate week.
Hate week.
Hate
as
week.
someone jokingly called it. And I get why it's like, that feels a bit forced, but it kind of works sometimes. What if you molded that idea with bowl games to some degree, and you had one of those every year, but only in the biggest markets? Because I do think if New York and New Jersey or whatever, and obviously let's just say Pittsburgh and the Flyers, always had that one game every year. And I don't think it's about growing the game as much and putting it to other markets who maybe have never had outdoor games. It really is just treat them like a serious bowl game.
So you're saying like not even bowl game. You're saying like the Apple Cup, which is like Washington State.
Sure,
It's like-
exactly.
it's
Or the
more of
bean
that.
pot.
And
Like,
they
yeah,
get,
exactly,
and
yeah.
they get a trophy.
Yeah,
out of
they
it.
get
Exactly.
a trophy, and then
Make
the
a
next year
trophy
it's
out
on
of
the
it.
line again, and
100%.
they get to take
100%.
if it's an item, whatever. I think that's a kind of cool idea.
Because they already do it, like, they give, how many has New York had, right? And how many has, like, Philly had?
I
Like,
mean,
they
Chicago's got
clearly
another
focus-
one
Yeah,
next year.
Chicago.
Like,
Yeah,
it's
Boston, how many?
It's
they
unbelievable.
had. But, like, just lean into it. Just lean into it even more.
like that.
Make it even more of a, like, this is a one-off event that happens every single year. Have one regular season game become something.
It's funny, like even the Bettman said, I think it was Bettman, who he was like, these are the regular season games that get the most attention every year, and it's like that's kind of true, and like I think even more so like than the Winter Classic, which was supposed to be like the thing, the marquee event for the NHL for so long, but I feel like these ones end up getting more love, and especially like the teams, except for oh my god, we gotta talk about.
What? Lou?
This guy, he didn't let them dress up for the goddamn game.
He saw the
Such
picture,
a loser.
Goddamn cringe.
He
that
saw
guy.
the fish thing in Seattle. He's like, nope, no.
Not a chance.
New
What
Jersey,
a
New Jersey
loser.
won though. The Devils with the Sopranos
Sopranos,
outfits.
that was
were
so
rad.
sick.
Very
It was
cool.
good.
Their jerseys. I like the Rangers ones a lot,
So
but I think the
sick.
Devils ones like
Devils were
Those,
so
ones are
those are the
nasty.
top two for sure.
Islanders jerseys were also a dud.
awful.
yeah. That's I don't.
They
I
suck.
didn't hate them as much as everyone, but
I
like
didn't love them either, but I know what you mean. Of all of them, it probably was. The Flyers one wasn't.
I kind of like the Flyers one.
Yeah, I kind of liked it too.
I didn't dislike it,
Yeah.
but they're not that far off.
they just weren't that original. Like
No.
I just kind of
Yeah.
like the Flyers jersey in
Exactly.
general, but
Yeah.
like that
They-
one wasn't like,
Exact-
oh, look at this new thing.
exactly,
Whereas like New Jersey and New York was like it was, especially like the helmet decals and stuff.
Yeah.
The
like, it
helmet
was
decals were great.
Very cool.
Yeah, those are
very
nice.
cool.
Well, after beating the Stars, the Bruins, they're going to take on the Oilers and the Canucks. Oilers is Wednesday, and the Canucks is on Saturday. So
Fun
clearly,
slate.
finally, objectively, we will be able to say who the best team in the NHL is. Obviously, I'm kidding. But do you guys even read anything at this point into any of these rules? Like, clearly, the fans of those teams, they want their respect. I get it. Canucks fans have been very clear about that, and funny enough, Bruins fans have as well.
Have we like not done that? I
Have
feel, like
Canucks
I'll
done
say
that?
it
We-
right now.
we
Like,
talk
the
about it a
Canucks
lot.
are very good, and like I like again, I'll have some more videos come out about this soon. But like, yeah, Vancouver's just a good team.
Okay.
Like, I could not have been more wrong about them to start the year. They have very good players, and they're a very good team. And I actually think like even as the year's gone along, I've been more and more convinced about like that they actually have a legitimate shot at like.
So that's my question, I guess, just because if we're all in agreement there, of those teams that I kind of mentioned, obviously, are you reading anything at this point, like until the end of the year? Or are
Say
you
them
pretty
again?
much who are, if you had to pick it, like your three genuine cup favorites? If you had to knock a team out there, because I said four teams there.
I
I
got
said
one.
the Stars, I said the Bruins, I said the Oilers and the Canucks. Just give me three teams.
There's one team I think I would actually take over all of them.
Sure.
Call me crazy. I think
Winnipeg Jets.
Well, other than the Jets, I actually think the Florida Panthers are going to win the cup.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Like I think they look
look great.
amazing.
so why don't you say your three,
Yeah,
and
other
if
than
someone
the
has
Jets.
one off the top of their head, they can go for it first.
I'm gonna go Panthers, Oilers, Rangers.
Wow. I was gonna say Rangers too.
They got a little
They look
magic
good.
to them.
They look
And
good.
It definitely is the stadium series talking for me a little.
They're on
bit,
a
but
heater right
they
now.
are.
too.
And like Shesterkin has kind of been meh. Like if
He's
he
been
gets-
better recently,
He's
but
been
yes,
better recently,
as a
but
whole.
like he's kind of been mad this year. And if he just gets going a little bit, like look out.
Who was your third team then?
I like the Panthers a lot. We did a video on them 2 weeks ago,
Couple
3
weeks
weeks ago. Yeah, of just like talking
still-
about how they're way better than they were last year, even, and like the moves they made this season have hit. Like Oliver Ekman-Larsson has been like really good for them, and like
Clap
Gustav
Tampa
Forsling.
as well.
Yeah, Sam Reinhart has been amazing. Like, yeah, I don't know. Bobrovsky find his form again. Like they're just better than the team they were last year, which made the cup fun.
So what were the
they-
three teams that you picked?
And the Oilers too, because
It was Oilers, but I don't. Oilers,
Same.
Panthers,
Rangers.
I was gonna say.
yeah.
Oh, you
don't
picked
really-
Rangers.
I don't really believe in the Bruins too much.
Oh, okay, you're still, and then
I agree. I think the Bruins need to make some moves if they want to make a deeper run. I think we learned last year they just like I don't know, they're just beatable. But I do think that for me it's the Panthers, the Stars,
I love the Stars too.
and I'm gonna go with Vegas. I don't think they're done. I think when that team gets healthy by the playoffs, it's tough to count them out.
Okay.
But it could be anyone. Like I could see the Oilers doing it. I could see Colorado going on a run. Winnipeg, the Leafs. Oh. No,
I was like, what is he doing
no.
with his hand?
Here's the thing: like the Leafs are obviously a great team, but I mean, who knows? Who knows about the East? The East is just so. If anyone came out of the East, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like honestly, like everyone in the East is capable of making a run.
No one's going all in on Philly.
Not yet.
Like yeah.
Carolina even too. Like I know we.
They snuck under the radar for a long
mentioned them.
time because they didn't do well, but quite clearly, yeah.
No, they're good.
What you
They're a
thought
good
about
team.
them at the start of the year, you can probably start thinking that again.
Yeah.
Based on form and just
Yeah.
where they're trending. Okay, so before we move on to our main topic of the whole show, we're going to be back for trade deadline. We're going to be sitting in this room. Hope you're cozy. Hope it doesn't get too hot as it always does in this room. And you don't have to be as warm because you can just watch from home. But yeah, we're going to be here for a long time. A long time on that day. on
How
trade
long,
deadline.
Z?
Hours.
But so the thing we always do, we rank every team's trade deadline performance, and we include like we're gonna include the Lindholm trade and stuff in that. So like even if not a ton of stuff is happening that day, we're talking about every team. We're not gonna be like, hey, Detroit Red Wing fans, we're gonna give you a solid 2 to 2.5 minutes minimum.
Jake Gensel to the Red Wings.
Who do you think? What team have we never talked about?
For real?
No, I'm just saying you like it though, right?
Oh,
When
I
they
actually
do
do
it.
think that would
when
be
they
a
do
good fit.
it.
Yeah,
And they like American players, so
one thing we didn't talk about was how good Patrick Kane's been. Wow.
Yeah, he's been crazy.
yeah, seriously. One of the unfortunately not going to the Sabres. Good call, unfortunately. Anyways, so yeah, join us on trade deadline day because we'll be here.
And if you're not going to watch the trade deadline show, you should be watching Crave because we're going to shill for it for a second. Our company owns Crave, and it's actually sick.
No, it actually is sick. Like I've been using it to watch Barry because you guys recommended that to me.
Excellent show.
Amazing show. Love that show. Check that out.
Not not just saying this, but I like Crave is personally my favorite streaming service. I say that all the time. That's like straight from the heart.
It is legit. If you search, you can find Jesse's favorite list on there. You have to search deep, real deep. You might have to literally type the exact name of the playlist.
You got a top 5.
You have to do it in Google though. I'm pretty sure.
Not on the app.
Check it out.
Damn.
Yeah, it's actually sick.
The Wire is probably my favorite show on Crave.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wires
Yeah, well,
True Detective season
again,
1's also amazing.
For the American people that don't know what it is, you get like HBO, Showtime,
Showtime.
Stars, a bunch of Canadian programming, like a bunch of movies. It's actually
Sopranos.
nuts for like a normal streaming service price.
Friday Night Lights, baby.
Best show.
Coach Taylor.
Coach Taylor's my guy.
That brings us to our topic now. The topic of discussion, the title of this video that perhaps brought you in here. Who knows? I don't know what brought you in here, but thank you for being here. It's all about unpopular opinions. Sometimes we talk about it for teams. This time we're looking at players. Luca, would you like to start us off with an unpopular opinion of yours when it comes to a player?
Sure. It's gonna go back to the conversation we had at the beginning of the season with like the Matthews and Draisaitl top 5 argument, and I think Matthews is, maybe this is an unpopular opinion, just a tier above like Leon Draisaitl, and maybe Tkachuk has been heating up lately and he's really, really good. But I think Matthews this season, what he's done, it's just like, it's McDavid, it's him, and it's McKinnon, and Kucherov as well has been unbelievable.
In
But
that
like,
order?
not in that order, but that's the
Give me
tier.
your order.
Oh, God. McDavid. Matt. It's like Kucherov and Matthews. I love McKinnon, but I think Matthews' defensive game is better and goals are more valuable. And I think Kucherov's like kind of underrated defensively a little bit too, a little more than McKinnon is. But McKinnon's been unbelievable. So like, I don't know. But all that is to say, I think like the defensive side of it, defensive side of it is the biggest thing with Matthews. He's arguably the best defensive forward in hockey. Like the stick checking alone, just watch that guy in the offensive end lift sticks. I think he's got the first most stick checks in the NHL with 99 of any forward. Like how he can create offense in that way, and then he's got the best shot in the league. He can score from anywhere, and how defensively responsible he is. It's like he had a bad year last year, and he had 40 goals, and now he's going to score 70. And it's just like, oh yeah, he probably was hurt a little last year, whatever. Like this is the player that he is.
Something tells me Corwin has something to add to all this.
No, I don't. He did a great job. I think
And like Leon's a great player, don't get me wrong, but I think like
You're ranking the top players. Quite clearly, like someone has to get left out. It doesn't mean they're trash.
but that was the conversation before the season was like Leon is better than Auston Matthews. Like he is that guy.
Because I ranked Matthews second on that list, and people were mad. And
Yeah.
and I
They could still disagree with you
Draisaitl
as
sixth.
well.
Of course, yeah. I'm not saying like, oh, it's objectively this is the right thing now, but for sure, I would say like popular opinion is trending more in that direction now, but there obviously for sure will be some angry Oilers fans and things
Let's
like
hear it
that.
in the comments, everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounded like
Well,
you're actually pretty firmly in agreement that, because I remember you were definitely more for Draisaitl, which I was with you on that. Has your perception on that
Matthews
changed?
has been incredible. Like I can't argue that.
Don't even
He
have
scores
to.
70 goals.
Yeah.
Don't have to.
Don't have to.
What's funny though is like Leon might not be top 5 now.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy how just one season can obviously change these things, but
That would
and
make
he's
a-
gonna be devastated.
he's gonna be devastated. But like even when you talk about like we didn't have Quinn Hughes anywhere close, like that guy is best defenseman in hockey, arguably. Like him and Kayla are up there, depending on what you think. You got them two in the top 5. You can have Kucherov, Matthews, McKinnon, and McDavid. Like it's pretty loaded ahead.
We had Tage Thompson, for example, like in our top 25. Even that, like that's how much these lists
changes so
fluctuate.
quickly.
There's not a chance you would say his name.
I almost didn't have Cross.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah.
But like, and you would acknowledge at the time that was like
It was nuts. But
crazy. Reach.
only the one thing I'll add to back up his point there is because like now, so I pulled up the video. One of the I guess.
Are you watching YouTube videos while you're in a YouTube video?
No. I was just pulling it up to look at the comment because
Inception.
the top comment on the video is Matthews at 2 is the biggest homer pick I've ever seen in my entire life. That's the top comment.
I think Corwin forgot about this and moved on. Whatever. It is a homer. It was a homer pick at the time. You can also probably 50-50 that.
No, I feel like it's just I'm always right. And,
Yeah. How about that? Jesse, how about you? An unpopular opinion. We'll move on to the next one.
Wait, is Corwin going or am I?
We'll switch to you and then we'll go to Corwin. He's on timeout.
After YouTubing the video. I like it because it supported what I was saying.
Okay, wow. I'm gonna wait to say one of mine after Corwin says one of his because it'll.
This is collusion.
Well, so I made a comment.
Do they pair with each other? Then go.
It will
is this a nice wine to his like?
It'll
Is this a
segue.
steak and a
There's a bit of
cab
a
sauv? What are we doing here?
There's a bit of a surprise in it because part of the reason how I brought this up to the group to be like, oh, like could be something we could talk about. I said like, oh, like if somebody was like, I'd take William Nylander over Kyle Connor every day, and then Jesse was like, say
said
that
that?
one. I said that. And I at the time I was like, I'd have to look into it more, but in my mind I do feel that way. But then I thought, for the podcast, I should bring a little extra heat, a little something special for you. And I would say I'd take William Nylander over any player on the Winnipeg Jets.
Well, I don't.
But you guys need it. But you guys need
Connor's our best player.
Well, Connor Hellebuck too.
I was gonna say, but you need a goalie.
I'd still like William Nylander.
That okay?
So that's your unpopular opinion.
I guess. I don't know that. Yeah. I have a more unpopular one after, but this is just this was started our discussion. I know you wanted to build off of it,
So that's interesting actually, because like Kyle Connor, like I get it. I think there's an argument to be made for either of them, but like I understand especially right now why you take Nylander. However, Kyle Connor has been one of the best goal scorers in the league when healthy over the last couple of years, and we cannot just forget about that. Guy is insane. But
I don't want to count that as one of mine. I feel like it's not a hot enough take.
By the way,
it's
an unpopular enough.
No.
Well, I guess it's a very specific.
It's unpopular in this room right now.
Yeah.
I think the Hellebuck one is actually very interesting. Like, would you, if the opportunity came about, like
Trade William Nylander
could you
for
trade
Connor Hellebuck?
Nylander for Hellebuck?
And obviously, you guys are not saying this as if it's a real trade. You're just saying like, let's imagine in some scenario you could just
Value for
one for
value.
one.
yeah, like not whether or not they'd make the trade because that's ridiculous. They wouldn't, but
Like the Leafs get a number one goalie, Jets get like an unreal
you wouldn't.
forward to add some additional scoring up front.
We've
You
got
would
Martin
take it?
Jones though.
What?
You would take it?
No.
What about Joseph Woll?
I wouldn't take it
He'll be back
for the Jets. I would want to keep Hellebuck.
And you seriously wouldn't take that?
No, it's William Nylander.
I can't say seriously.
He's my favorite
He's so
player to
fun.
watch on the team. He's like,
He's so good.
Yeah, you got. I don't know. I might have to move back to Luca because what you guys is I don't know what any.
Give us your real one. Give us your real
Well, give us a
one.
real one.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Maybe you give us a real one if you have a real one, and then we'll move on to.
no,
Jesse
because
again.
I just said one. Say yours.
I actually thought the Nylander for anyone on the Jets was a pretty good one. For the
Yeah.
record.
Okay.
Okay, well, let's do another
But
one.
what I want to say is on the topic of Nylander, because I feel like we've kind of discussed this before, fellas. Would you rather have Nylander or Petey? Elias Pettersson. Two Swedes, very close in age.
I personally, I don't think I'd take PD every day.
I take Petey every day. That was my pick. That was my pick too. But like, they're both fantastic. The thing about Petey is that like, man, that guy can wire the puck. Like,
He won the hardest shot competition.
Exactly. He's crazy. And he's a center, obviously. Like, there's just, how much is that guy going to get paid? If Nylander's getting paid $11.5 million, is Petey getting at least 12? Probably.
I think we actually asked that question earlier in the year when that Nylander contract happened. So you answered your own one there. Was that what you were pitching though?
Yes.
Okay. That's fair. It's a fair point though, but I feel like that's like across the board. Everyone's taking PD.
But man, but you know what? There's like, look up their stats. They have very similar stats this year.
Nylander's been unreal this year. Yeah. No argument there. Luca. What he's got
real
more?
one.
Okay, so this is I've kind of crafted them in a way because I thought I'm gonna play to like your guys' expertise and things, and then so, okay.
Is this about to be like
I'm
really
so excited.
insane?
I want
Like,
it.
yeah, I'm
Need
very.
that.
I'm
curious.
going for a crazy one. Okay,
Here we go.
Daniel,
Hello.
this one's for you.
Oh, Sabres.
Is this Sabres related?
I'm gonna take Timothy Liljegren over Owen Power.
I will say, it's been a pretty disappointing year. What you said is asinine.
You said it so sad. I don't know. That's
No, because long term, what are you talking about? Clearly you're going to put your stock in Owen Power over Timothy Liljegren. But if you're going for immediate results at the moment from how they've played this year, it's been a pretty disappointing year for a lot of Sabres. But I would say of the ones that I've been the most damn, that's a rough year, especially for someone you would have expected to take another jump because, he was a rookie. I see why you said it. I vehemently disagree with it still, but I see why you brought it up. Does that feel fair as an answer?
Absolutely.
Right now in this space and time, you could be Timothy Liljegren,
for a playoff run,
but future.
I could
stargazing. You're hoping that Owen Power turns out to be better than that.
Power's gonna pan out. Yeah. You will.
Yeah.
What is he, 20 or 21?
Yeah.
We'll say.
Sorry, I don't know. I was saying as in he'll pan out. I will check his age. But, and obviously, I know all of us are in agreement there. There's such a big...
I'm saying it more in a way that I think Timothy Liljegren...
He gets slept on.
No, so the only reason I say it is with Morgan Riley out, Timothy Liljegren has really stepped up, and seeing him on the power play, which he really never gets an opportunity to do, he's looked great. And...
he's also not injured, so he's on because Owen Power's on the injured reserve. So if you're going for a playoff run, you definitely would take him.
Yeah. I'm more just I really believe in Timothy Liljegren long term now, and
no way.
Great skater.
Yeah,
I like that a lot.
Yeah,
I'm going for a hot take. I know it's
doing.
not I'm again. It's and funny enough, I didn't think of that before. I was actually gonna say over. I was gonna say over Sam Girard, but I was
you just weren't interested in that.
yeah, it's kind of cool.
It's not hot.
It's Timothy Liljegren
That's
over
the
Sam
third,
Girard.
the third defenseman on the app.
we don't
whatever.
we don't
Sick
talk
hot take, man.
We don't talk Sabres a lot this year, and there's a reason for it, unfortunately. But
Yeah.
it's what a regression. Not great.
Tough.
Luca,
I will say, Levi looked unbelievable
in
yesterday
Rochester. Yeah.
against the Marlies. Holy crap! Some of those
Didn't he have 50 saves?
52 saves in an overtime win. Unbelievable. Wow. Looks great. Confidence looks back.
I can't believe that of everything that's happened this year, Ukko, Pekka Luukkonen, and him being whoa, it's a solid tandem. Didn't expect that to be the positive story from this year.
Yeah.
So, what is your
I like
unpopular
Turka and Middlestat too.
For sure.
Middlestat might get traded. Okay, that's trade talk.
Yeah.
Okay, my second one has to do with the Canucks a little bit, and more just so the incredible seasons a lot of them are having. And I think JT Miller, incredible player. Not really focusing on him for this. It's more Brock Besser. He's cooled down majorly lately, and when you're looking at the point brackets with who's kind of near him, it's the Carter Verhaeghes of the world and Braden Points and there's one other name, Matt Barzal, who's having a fantastic year. And all that's to say, I'd take all those guys over Brock Besser in a heartbeat, and those guys right in and around the same point production this year so far.
Verhaeghe's the one
Besser.
that sticks out to me.
Because he seems kind of like a secondary option like Brock Besser does.
Yeah.
But he's just so good, and
because
might be a little.
Because I think people are gonna say
Braden Point for sure.
Barzal. I think they'll take it.
I think
now
Besser's
let's boil
a little,
this down to you would take Carter Verhaeghe over Brock Besser.
I think he's a little bit of fool's gold with the shooting percentage, still above 20, and
he's up for a new contract, by the way, not this year,
but the year after. I just think Verhaeghe has gone so under the radar for so many years. Barkov's always the most underrated player. I think Verhaeghe is the most underrated player on that team for sure. In a team full of underrated guys Sam Reinhart's been great this year, and Tkachuk probably deserves a lot of flowers too. But yeah, I would take him. I'd honestly maybe even take an Owen Tippett over. I'm really high on
this year.
No, but that's another one where I'd be I feel like people love him right now.
Yeah.
His stock's at its highest at this
especially
point.
because he's exciting.
He is exciting, but it's more just play styles and not getting fooled. And not to say that Besser's not a good player.
To be clear, I'm taking Brock Besser over Carter Verhaeghe, I think.
And you too? Who would you take of the two?
Besser or Tippett, or Besser or any of those other three?
Besser, Verhaeghe, or even if you think Besser over Point or Barzal, because Barzal could be a controversial one too, where it's this year is finally the year that he is starting to produce, and
I think Barzal over Besser.
Yeah.
And I would take Verhaeghe and Point.
You take Verhaeghe over Besser.
Probably, man. Verhaeghe's a goal-scoring machine.
Yeah, he has been great.
I didn't want to toss this name out, but I was like, I don't know who.
Owen Power enough.
comparable. No, Quinton Byfield. Because I've loved him this year. He's not at the same point
I'd take
production,
Besser.
but I think based on like the skill set he has, I love Quinton Byfield, and I think I'd maybe take him.
I have a really interesting one for you that I don't. Well, like.
And I'm probably underrating Besser at this point because I think he's a solid player.
It speaks to the Canucks year again that you've identified that as like, because obviously his stock has risen with the whole team.
For sure.
But what's your other interesting one?
So the other interesting one, and I couldn't really decide where I wanted to be on it, which was, I initially thought Slavkovsky over Lafreniere.
I was trying to come up with one for him too because he's been on a roll lately.
Lav got a lot of credit to start the year, but I feel like that's tapered.
Yeah, because he's kind of like settled into a spot where it's like getting respectable. Like
Sure.
He just looks like a solid NHL.
Putting in a role.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas like Slavkovsky's
Starting.
already kind of looking like that at a younger age, on a worse team, and he obviously has some of those like assets that people really look for in players, like power forward, size, and then and especially I think if you like boil it, like it's always tough because we're looking at really small sample size, but people will be like, oh, well, in the last 2 months he's been like this great, and it's like, yes, of course, but you should probably take more of the sample to if you're really look, because like he's in good form right now, but I think like that could kind of have some ebbs and flows. So then my next question was, because I thought Lafreniere was like, okay, I think people would, that might be a kind of popular opinion right now.
Sure.
And then I thought, would you take Slavkovsky over Byfield?
That's a difficult one.
I think
I would still take Byfield as well.
Byfield.
I would
I
take
love
Byfield.
watching him play. He's so
I agree.
good.
I would,
He's so good.
yeah. I think that's kind of why I didn't say it in the end, was because I was like, I think I still
you
would
said
take
it.
Byfield. No, I just thought it was an interesting discussion.
I wanted to originally phrase it like the Byfield one is like, who would you take out of that draft class? Like, would you take anyone over Byfield? Like, Stützle is obviously, I think, the guy
Yeah.
that you would.
I still think I would.
Yeah.
But like, man, Byfield's just got upside. But he's playing with such good players.
Yeah.
I feel like
This is so good.
yeah.
exactly.
He's already already a
Stützle's
star.
amazing,
You know what you're
right?
getting out of him.
Yeah. Having a bit of a down year, but like he's amazing.
So, but been like a point per game guy. Hasn't
Yeah.
he?
We know what we're getting out of him, but what are we getting out of you for another
Okay.
unpopular opinion?
Everyone's saying, "Oh, I got a hot one. I got a. You want to hear a hot one, fellas?
Yeah.
Want to hear a hot one, fellas? Yeah, I'll show you a hot one.
Give it to us, Sean Evans.
I'll give it to you, baby. I love both these players, but give me Bedsy over Jack Hughes.
Interesting.
It's a wild one. I love
That
it.
is okay. Well, first off, yeah, that's a
I just
lot.
want to spice
That's
it
a
up.
lot.
No, but like it depends. You mean right now? Like, do you think the New
Even
Jersey
right
Devils,
now.
the New Jersey Devils, looking into going to the playoffs, if they were like, it swaps back at the end of the year,
Yeah, but
but
who'd you rather have?
just for
A
going
loan
into this
deal.
playoffs,
A loan deal.
where we
Loan.
give you Jack Hughes,
Wow.
you get Connor Bedard.
See,
You
it's a
do
it's a
that?
wild one.
By the way, I wish the NHL had loans. We should do that. One day we should do one podcast
would
where it's
be
all just
cool.
soccer stuff, just straight transfer, cash money, and like loans.
I like this
Anyways,
a lot.
but you're
I don't know. Like Jack Hughes is so damn good. But Bedsy's
So why
also-
did you say
but
it?
Bedsy's-
Yeah, you gotta
just to
stand
spice it up,
by it.
Just to spice it up.
So
look,
who are you taking? Like it's
I
for
gotta go
sure
with my- I
Bedsy.
gotta go with my boy Bedsy.
Wow.
as to why.
Because he's freaking amazing on the worst team in the NHL, potentially by a mile. Like Chicago's so bad. Oh, also the Anaheim Ducks are
Really not
terrible. Oh my goodness. The Leafs obviously looked amazing, but like, man, they looked so bad.
The
on
Ducks
Saturday.
fan in front of me was getting absolally roasted, and he
Poor
just stopped
guy.
talking, and eventually he was like, just like, "Oh, don't worry, guys. Oh, come on, that is funny." And it was. I was like, "Man, like,
Also, honestly, he looked like that cat.
Oh, yeah.
He's it was just dark time for him.
please leave me alone."
Now, the Ducks jerseys are also terrible. There's nothing
This
going
is
good with that
just like
team.
a cook.
Wow.
It's like an absolute shoot off.
Okay, wait, I have a
shoot off.
question.
we
now,
already
then. If
I agree.
who's gonna have the better career then, Bedsy or Hughes?
Bedsy.
Settle it now.
You think so?
Bedsy. Yes. I
I think
feel-
you're sleeping on Jack. Like again, okay.
I
I
love
wish
Jack
he
Hughes.
didn't get hurt because he'd probably be right with Kucherov. and
Is this
McKinnon in
not the
point
perfect
race.
example of just totally looking at like immediate form? Like
Yeah, Bedsy is in his first year and he's already dominant. Like, what does he have? 6 goals, 6 points in 3 games since he came back. Like, he's so good. Look at how bad Chicago is. Terrible.
I would no shot for this year.
No way.
For this year is crazy because like
Man, I love
Hughes
that.
is so good.
he's amazing. But also, I wanted to talk about like, is Connor Bedard getting hit too much? Like he gets laid out all the time, and like
Yeah, but you could say, but Jack Hughes is also like frail and like very injury prone. Like,
No. I don't even think it's like a bad. I guess like too much is like a thing, like as if it's gonna be a problem. I don't think it's like a problem. It's just funny that like because he's still disgusting and it doesn't really affect his overall play other than
good
getting injured.
for a rookie.
But from I think it was like one of his first games he got laid out and then he just got that like reverse hit from the other Sebastian Aho.
Yeah.
And the and then obviously the like job.
was it the other Sebastian Aho? I thought it was the actual Sebastian Aho.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh, I just
He was
saw
Carolina. The actual Sebastian.
That's
Sorry,
that's
other Sebastian
insane.
Aho. You're irrelevant, buddy.
Does
No, I'm
Ryan
kidding. Very
Reeves get hit too much? Did you guys see that hit in the Blues game?
Dude, that guy like literally like I'm very into Reeves because he's from Winnipeg, but like man, that guy looks like he's just like chopping lumber when he skates.
Man,
on the ice. Like,
at
he's
the
just, like,
game?
chomping.
He had a great chance to score, and when he like whiffed on it and missed, you could see after the whistle, he was like, he was like, that might have been the only time I ever.
He
get a
wanted to
chance."
scrap Gudis.
He's got a couple
so
goals
badly.
this year. Yeah. Coward Gudis.
They brought him back out. Gudis, like, do you see that? Like, I'm like, there's no reason for both of these guys to be out there unless someone's fighting, and they didn't even do it.
Yeah.
Didn't make sense.
Oh, okay, wait. So and then another thing.
I'm taking Hughes, by the way, for that.
Hughes, yes, across
taking-
the board, I think.
I think if he didn't get hurt and he was playing at that pace that he was before he got hurt, like he was the MVP of the first quarter of the season.
Probably first 10 games or something.
I freaking
Only
love
that-
Jack Hughes.
Yeah, it was more like I think he
For the
had like
record.
25 points in 12
12
games.
games.
Or something.
I think
he was rolling.
As always, we'll preface this like we're just here to have fun discussions. It's not,
love
I don't
both of them.
think, it's not like a reality check of like we got to be trading.
This
Jack
this could
Hughes
very
for
well mean
Bedard.
too that like Hughes and Bedard are just putting up 100-point seasons every year. Like that could happen.
It's
a reality.
certainly the faces of the league that like the league itself would want. So
I think Bedsy is going to be a better player than Jack Hughes. I think that
So like that's the thing. I don't think that's that crazy of
No,
a take.
that-
I think the
You have to
crazy
pick one
take
or the
would be
other.
right now if you're
Picking
New
one or the
Jersey,
other.
you're not going to take Bedard over him right now.
I think, I mean, I know it's hypotheticals, but would Jack Hughes be? How good would Jack Hughes be doing in Chicago right now, and how well would Bedsy be doing on New Jersey right now? Not to take away from the kind of player that Hughes is, because he's amazing, but man, like
I think the difference is like Bedard is a goal scorer, and I think that's easier to maintain
Show your value
on your. No, I think it's
immediately, or
easier
what?
to maintain without like incredible line mates around you, if that makes sense. Whereas I think like Jack Hughes' play style definitely benefits more from having like a good finisher or somebody that can like.
sure, man.
very fair.
Bedsy is playing with just that team is awful in Chicago. Like, oh my goodness, they're bad.
They're doing a great tank. So
Great.
Yeah,
take.
they're tanking, and they're gonna be amazing.
if he's got Macklin on the squad next year, wow.
All right, let's move on to don't think, just tweet. Jesse, I'm going to let you go first on this one because I want to know, is this a good meal for $36? Because you paid it. You paid it, buddy, and I go ahead.
Okay, I have some thoughts. First of all, I blew it by not putting mustard on the sandwich. That was my mistake. Okay,
Is
so
there
I'll
not
apologize for
under
that.
the bun? Nothing?
No, only gravy.
In your defense,
to be
depending
fair,
on when
it's
you
preference.
went to get that sandwich, could have been a long line around those areas that are very not plentiful around the arena where there are napkins and condiments and things like that.
I'm more just saying like
Not-
sandwiches are not supposed to be an add a condiment after type of meal.
That type
Right.
of sandwich
This
usually
kind
does
of
that.
sandwich you
Depends.
can, and
But
there was a
You
condiment
add
section to buy.
mustard on your own.
Okay.
Why wouldn't they just put it on?
Here's my beef.
I don't
okay,
disagree with that either.
Right here, actually.
Yes, literally my beef.
Corn,
Anyways,
Montreal smoked.
Pause.
I love Montreal smoked meat. The sandwich was too small. Okay, it was too small. It
tiny.
was like it,
You should have put your hand in the photo.
Well, look at it beside the water bottle. It's just like it's small. And then
How big is that
and
water
then-
bottle? 2 liters.
And here's
Let's see this.
it's not even close. And here's my biggest issue. You think I want like kettle chips with my sandwich? Like you're gonna charge that? Like
I don't
give
mind
me-
kettle chips.
No, give me fries. Come on, I'm paying $36. You're gonna cheap out and give me.
And also, not good kettle chips. I had them
No.
yesterday
No
at the
good?
Marlies game. They're not good. They're like
Lay's?
heavy and oily and
They're
just
terrible.
not good.
They're too salty.
Yep.
I gotta throw something out there. I don't understand why you got this at a game.
Because
You're a hot dog. You're just a hot dog
I was
guy.
so hungry, and it was the only place near our section, and I was just like, I need this. I was also with a lady and didn't want to be cheap and get her a decent enough sandwich, so had to get her one too.
I went there.
Actually, no, she actually paid for her own sandwich. This is too much money.
the whole scenario. So you just led her to expensive, overpriced
I
sandwiches.
said, well,
The straw house is collapsed.
look, we're like, we'd shared many meals throughout the weekend, and I was like, look, I think let's just both do our own this time.
That's fair. I was at the
I
same.
also paid for the tickets.
As I said, I was at the same game as you, and Elodie got like a brisket sandwich, which I couldn't believe because it was like Cherry Street, whatever. It's the sandwich place. I forget the name. Sorry, it's a great place, but it was $28.
Yep.
And that was, as you said, that thing looked tiny. I'm like, that's why I'm with you.
You guys are making a mistake.
You got to
of
just get a
going
hot dog.
just go and get a hot dog.
You're
Or,
gonna get
like,
ripped off.
Yeah.
You're gonna
No,
get
no,
ripped
no,
off.
no, no. But I,
know,
was going
but-
to a concert after, and I needed fuel. Like I needed.
This was the fuel?
Didn't fuel you though.
Hot dog.
Chips,
Well,
couple
I didn't
chips.
expect the sandwich to be that small when I actually got it on my plate, but I was still hungry after and miserable.
I will say though, there are a ton of great different types of food at ACC Scotia
Hot dog.
specifically. No, I know, but I had crispy bao buns, spicy chicken bao buns. Like those were unbelievable.
But it's like
$17.
it's just too much. I see what you're saying. Where it's like, you know what? Like I got the tickets. We had got them for free, so I didn't care because we were just like, all my money is going towards the food. Never would I ever spend $30 otherwise on food because I'm like, I'm already like 200 in here.
But for how much is a hot dog? 14?
15 probably.
Foot long is 14.
I think a dog you can get for like $9.
I think no,
Yeah.
it was,
No.
it was,
Like
it was,
a-
four-
it
it
was
was
normal
14. I
normal
think it was
size.
14.
No, that's for foot long.
But like with like I said, it comes in a meal.
Size.
What?
It's like with fries. I saw it. It was 14 for the hot dog and some fries, which
I was-
wasn't that bad.
Yeah, that seems.
It's not, but for $3 more,
I'm just saying, like,
something
you're
better
looking
than
for
a hot
you're
dog.
looking for fuel.
Or $20 more.
Don't knock dogs, okay?
I like a dog, but for $14 for a dog, what are we doing here?
Yeah, but $40 for this sandwich.
Oh, I'm not saying I would have gotten that, but
I was
there are
rattled.
other
Would've
deals.
eaten a couple
I was
chips.
rattled.
I was
There are
so
other
rattled.
deals for 20 or a little less.
It was, by the way, you know those like Oreo ice cream things?
Oh, what, $12?
$9.
It's like,
Where do they? $9 is crazy.
You know how much a bag of mini eggs was like this?
10?
$13.
Oh,
And then a tip on top.
Okay.
What are we doing here?
I can't believe I'm defending corporations here, but mini eggs are the most expensive thing you've ever seen.
Yeah,
in the
but
world.
$4.99.
They trade
$13.
higher than the price of gold.
$13.
pretty
It is
high.
more than a hot dog. What are we doing?
It was it's,
Have you ever tried to buy a mini eggs at Shoppers
expensive.
Drug Mart? It's
They're-
like $40.
They're expensive.
Not $40.
Not what he's saying.
Also, almost that time of year, guys. It's mini egg season.
It is almost
You know what, though?
Mini
You go-
eggs have risen.
You go to Bulk Barn and
They
you
are
get them
back.
by bulk, and it's not $13.
I love
Well,
that.
a
come
bag.
on, we can't start comparing to Bulk Barn. That's
No,
their
I'm not
value.
complaining about
You're
bulk.
buying
I'm
in
saying-
bulk.
I'm
You're
saying
buying in
that's
bulk.
the place to do it at.
Also, guys, the lady who I went to the game with.
Can you
she's,
just-
she's not from Canada, so I
Is this Guess Who?
bought Cadbury. I bought Cadbury cream eggs, and we ate Cadbury cream eggs for the first time. And let me tell you,
Those
they
things
are-
suck.
No, they're amazing. but
No?
they are so. It's the biggest sugar rush of your life. You're like, yeah. Her and I both simultaneously went.
Anyways.
I crap my
Anders Lee?
pants. Yeah.
All right, moving on. Corwin, you're in here. With the score 5-1 in the third, Bedard scores on Spencer Martin and stared him down before Martin pointed at the scoreboard. Simply put, I think you'll appreciate the language here. Our editor, Matt, will not. But how much are you enjoying the NHL's housery movement at the moment? Because there's been a lot of things recently with, again,
Jack Hughes.
if you're a soccer fan, that's what they call it. It's just, I'll swear again, but housing. Effectively, where you're trying to agitate, you're trying to kind of get in someone's face, and obviously this, staring someone down after a goal and then pointing at the scoreboard. What do you think about it?
Yeah, sick. I love it. I
amazing.
love it. Yeah. It's the
It's the fun.
same thing. Again, you're never going to find one of these where I'm going to be like, How dare you? Yeah. I'm never going this. Like I'm just never gonna be in that territory. And I just mean like I love it, and I love. I mean, like if I'm being honest, if I'm Connor Bedard and a guy points at the scoreboard when I'm on the worst team in the league in the first year of my career, like I'm gonna be like, you're a joke, and my career, like I'm gonna be a Hall of Famer.
Bro, if he did, that would be
Bedard did
next
stare him
level.
down.
Why did he? Did anyone? I did not watch the game.
I think it was
to be fair.
before like Martin was like kind of pushing him and stuff.
Was he?
giving him
Okay.
the years.
Yeah.
So I'm just kind of like Bedard is unbelievable, and oh sick, you got scoreboard on the worst team in the league. Like congrats, man.
I love it on both sides. Either
Goal
way.
got called back, right?
The goal got called back.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
even
which made the
worse.
goalie was like,
Tough look for beds.
Look at the
to the
scoreboard again
scoreboard
now. One less.
yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, in the moment. No, sorry. And I'm saying more. If I'm Connor Bedard, that's my reaction.
Sure.
Like, yeah, get lost, buddy.
But you're Corwin.
Yeah, as Corwin, I'm like, this is great. I love both of them. It's fun.
It's amazing. I hope they do them more. And that's when they were complaining about like the gritty stuff and whatever. I think that as a celebration is like kind of past whatever. But the response of saying like, oh, if you hate it, then don't let goals in.
The Zadorov gritty impression, was
Amazing.
unbelievable.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
But
Luca,
also like Jake Wallman, fun guy,
yeah, totally.
Oh, yeah.
Luca, after the NBA's much debated All-Star weekend, for the first time maybe ever, NBA fans have looked at the NHL and said, I want something like that in regards to the All-Star game.
Wait, what do they want?
Which sport, in your opinion, has the best All-Star game? And yes, for further explanation, how they split it into multiple teams. They really like how the NHL does that and having the captains, but like, because they've done the captains thing obviously in the NBA, but they've not split into 4 teams. They think it would be more competitive if they got a smaller amount of guys together and made it like a true, like, hey, you guys always talk about who's your starting lineup. Go create your own version of it and prove yourself for a moment. I don't know if that's the solution, but that's what they're saying they like about the NHL one.
I guess so. I mean, the NHL doesn't really do that, though, anyway.
Not really, but I think they're borrowing the idea to some degree of the
I
4
get
teams.
it. I mean, best All-Star game weekend thing, I still enjoy the NBA one from an entertainment perspective the most.
I
Because
thought NHL's was really good this year. Though.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I don't know.
It's just something about
I'm
Toronto.
talking game, by the way. Game.
Yeah, like the actual game. I mean,
not the whole thing.
baseball's kind of fun because it's like you're competing still. Like you're not just throwing 5-mile-per-hour pitches down the middle and watching a home run contest. Like they're still competing, and like how they have them mic'd up when they're on the mound and things like that. Like the little things they do to kind of get that game going, and you see the matchups of like Ohtani against Trout if he's pitched, like whatever. You can have all these different matchups, which is fun. I think it
counted.
just lends itself more to being an actual game than whatever the NBA or NHL are going to put on, because it's not going to be competitive. Like
The
unless,
NFL won't even. Yeah, don't even.
The
bring
Pro
it
Bowl.
up.
you know what though? I will say the switch to flag football
Genius
has
move on
made
that
it
part.
so fun to where I enjoy watching that a lot more than whatever the Pro Bowl was before. It's so entertaining, and especially with it coming up in the Olympics, it's just like, oh yeah, this is like what we're gonna have a taste of.
I
And
think quote tweet. When did NBA fans find out about the NHL?
that it exists. You mean?
Yeah.
Who knows? I don't know. Yeah, they probably like it came up. You know how we're like, oh, when you post like quirky sports events on like a main account, to them like, what is that?
Yeah, that looks cool.
That looks kind of fun.
It's like that. What's it called? Bandy.
Yeah.
That's like
Yeah,
that's like that.
And
When
the
that shows
NHL
up on
yeah.
hockey accounts, and people are like, oh,
Whoa, what is that? But I think it was you who had kind of brought this point up when we were talking NHL All-Star Week. But I think we definitely do forget that it is for kids, more or less
sure.
than anything. And kids are the ones who are excited about all these games. But in the context of like, how do you make this entertaining for adults and have kids still like it? I'm going to throw one in there who I think they do a great job with their All-Star because it's mid-season and it's also warm-ups for one of the other teams. It's
F1.
not F1, the MLS. I actually do enjoy how they do it, where they bring in a big club, and obviously you're
Whoa,
not.
whoa.
Shut up.
They brought in a big club. Is that what you said?
I did say that.
This summer they brought in a big club.
They've brought Arsenal twice, I think.
Yeah, was that
Only ones who accept their calls. But anyways, point being, it's great because it's like, sure, Arsenal or whoever plays like Atletico Madrid, they're not going all out and they'll sub their best
I watched
players
every minute of that.
in and out, but they're professionals and you can't really half
That was like a serious tune-up for ours. Like, because like that was Kai Havertz. Like they made fun of him a bit for the volley challenge thing and that, and then they actually had like he scored in the All-Star game, and it was like I don't know. We were like Arsenal fans were excited to watch that, and yeah, obviously MLS players I think are excited to like try to almost have like a bit of a shop window thing.
Totally, exactly, because it's your moment to be like, I could have played in Europe.
Yeah.
So
And they just got to go 2v2 in the NBA. Just pick someone. 2v2 tournament.
So wait,
2v2
what's your
would be amazing. Like just treat it like the park and get 2K to sponsor it.
2v2 or 3v3 tournament style. Get rid of the game.
So you want the KHL All-Stars to play against the
I want the Belfast Giants.
We want team other.
That'd be hilarious. You're telling me like if
Belfast Giants against the Chicago Blackhawks.
who wins? It's kind of like remember when they used to say like Alabama versus whoever.
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
NFL.
Yeah.
Luca hates that argument.
Well, because it's like they're NFL players.
Yes.
They're
They are.
the worst team will win. It's like
Yeah.
I've been watching like a lot of college basketball because I got to prepare for March Madness, and you always forget that in the whole crop of all NCAA players in like a year, 10 of these guys might end up being like good to like very solid NBA players.
Yeah.
10, like all of them. So when you're watching games, those guys stick out so much versus like the level down. Like
Also,
there are such levels to it.
Coaching too in like a college level to an NFL level, and also just like the talent as far as like these guys are all good in college, but like the guys in the NFL are all starting. They all went to college.
Yep.
They all have experience
They were the
playing in
best.
the NFL. They're literal men. Like, you kidding me right now? Alabama?
You got any more tweets in there?
That was it.
I got one more for you. I'd like to tweet about. I'd like some tweets from you guys about what are your thoughts on a coach's challenge up 8-1.
I think it's
Oh, they did that at the Leafs one. Yeah. We laughed, and the Ducks fan who was in front of us, he was like, "Come on!"
Yeah, I thought
They
it
took
was
away,
hilarious.
and it was like-
who was in net?
I think at that point it was Gibson.
Gibson.
Right?
Yeah, it was Gibson. Yeah.
Because
Oh wait, this was a Leafs goal on the Ducks?
The challenge was from
I
the
see what you mean.
Leafs.
Sorry.
Yeah, the Leafs got scored on.
That's what I mean.
Martin
Who's in net
Jones.
for the
Yeah,
Leafs?
Chief Jones.
Challenged it.
Yeah, it was Martin.
Trying to keep his numbers down. Come on, I respect it.
Oh,
Yeah, you got
The
to
team numbers.
And it was like absolutely goalie interference. So like I get it. It was just like I just thought it was hilarious.
I mean, it's a wild move, but like, yeah, I would love that. Don't they have like a perfect challenge record too? The Leafs.
They
Or,
missed
like,
one
they're-
this year. They
Ah,
missed
okay.
one. But yeah,
They've been pretty good otherwise.
they're very good at it always.
You
Like,
want to keep that going then?
Yeah, they're unbelievable. Like I don't know how clearly like they're one of those teams that has a good opportunity to flex some money based on like facilities and like staff and things like that because obviously there's a salary cap. So I feel like their video department is unmatched. Like they are challenging things within minutes, and like every time they challenge something, I'm like, what did I miss here? Because it's definitely coming back.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of teams have that figured out now, but they definitely have led the pack in that. Before we leave, let's rank all-time empty netters.
I'm sad I missed this.
Z, if you don't stop being so goddamn negative about our tier lists, I'm gonna lose it. Okay. Guys, it was a dumb list. We were all making fun.
I was definitely a little cranky during. I regard that. I think sometimes I forget, and maybe the people forget. Like we're friends, and so I'm naturally like when you get annoyed with your friends, and I'm just like, bro, man. Like, I don't think the idea
like,
worked.
why are you putting us through this?
But
right
also, we like literally had to leave in like 30 minutes to go do this other shoot, and we'd been here for like 9 hours. But I was being a baby during that, even though that idea wasn't great.
now? Wow, he hasn't backed down at all.
I haven't backed on that, but that's
sad.
okay. You can call my ideas crap because I've had plenty of crap
I'm
ideas.
sad I missed this one.
It was still fun to hang out.
Yeah,
It was.
and we had some good laughs.
No, we had a great time.
It
Sounds like it, guys.
Laughs were had.
Yeah.
Somebody gets this guy a $36 sandwich. He needs some fuel.
No.
Are you dying right now?
No,
Let's
no.
go. Are you all right?
No, I'm just feeling a little light after that $36 sandwich. My wallet is empty right now.
Honestly, like you need to take out a mortgage to go to a Leafs game.
You do.
yeah.
Man, we were talking about it. Like it's like a $500
In this pod.
affair to like for a dad to take their kid to a Leafs game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw
like,
someone
yeah.
quote tweet you and was like complaining about the sandwich
Yeah, I
when you
saw
didn't
that
even
too.
pay for the tickets. I was like,
He did pay for the ticket.
And even
I-
if you didn't. By the way, heads up for because like people also ask you this like if my like I don't know, if my second cousin is listening to this and he wants to message me and be like, hey, man, can you get me tickets? That's not how our jobs work at all. You don't get free tickets.
Oh, no.
Never.
I fully
Very
paid
rarely.
for these tickets and for someone else's ticket and for someone to just come at me and be like, imagine getting to go to these games to your job and complaining about it. It's like, you don't know me. You don't know how I got these tickets. I'll fight you.
Also,
take
wait,
your ass.
also, what part of this picture looks like dude's at his job?
Yeah.
But
But
wait,
also,
like,
even if you got
that's not what a
tickets
press box
for
looks
free,
like.
you have every right to be like, this is way too expensive for a sandwich, chips, and water, because
Yeah.
it is.
Well, I'd say
For the people.
of all
You
the
know,
things to
for the
complain
people.
about, that one's definitely like, that's for you too, pal.
It's $9
that's for
bucks for
anyone.
a bottle of water. What are we doing here?
Or he owns a food truck that does this.
Yeah, exactly.
He brought it in.
Hey, you know what? My prices are fair. And where's the mustard on your sandwich?
Yeah. No, it was for sure a burner from the guy who served me the sandwich.
Sandwiches should come pre-condimented.
No, they should.
I think so too. No, I don't think you should have to put on condiments on
See you
your
next week.
sandwich. I think it's a bad precedent we're setting here.